Roguelike is a commonly misused term for this particular subgenre of video games. People often think that a procedural level design layout and permadeath equals a roguelike caliber of gaming. And no, that's where you're wrong, stop doing it. Those games you improperly label are now known as roguelites, which is a subgenre of a roguelike. A game which takes inspiration from rogues of old and new. But without further hammer smacking, let's count down my 10 favorite modern roguelites.
Number 10.
Ziggurat is a bit of an oddity, as it's the only true 3D game on this list. Not to shock or spoil, but oh well. Ziggurat is a fantastic take on the first-person rogue dungeon crawling, with a great magic combat system implemented within it. Released for the PC and consoles, my first experience with it being on the Xbox One, this game puts you in the shoes of an apprentice magician who must test his will and skill in a ziggurat. For those curious of what that is, here's the Google link to that page, we have not the time. Think of Doom, but with random dungeons and fantasy creatures instead of Hellspawn. That's this. Get it.
Number 9.
Oh, Risk of Rain. The most punishing multiplayer roguelite on the market, at least in this man's opinion. A game that's as much about the item drops that you get as it is about speed and communication with your fellow friends. Yes, you can play it solo, and yes, it's still fun, but the real joy comes with playing with a few friends. It's got a high skill ceiling, but once you start getting the hang of it, you feel like a baller. A shot called, and you might actually find 20-inch blades and an Impala. That's actually a lie, those aren't in the game, but there is a kick-ass guitar.
Number 8.
Okay, so I can't do a good shopkeeper, but Crypt the Necro Dancer is fantastic and one of my games of the year last year, and for good reason. This game did what no one thought was even possible. They made a rhythm roguelite. What the hell was that even an idea? I don't know, but the game's original music and beat is fun enough to try playing it, so just don't ever play it with Between the Buried and Me. That's not fun. So you can actually play this game with a DDR mat though, so, you know, enhancing the experience is always good.
Number 7.
Nuclear Throne is not a fun game. It is a gauntlet. You walk into this game with one goal, and that is to defeat it. And defeat it you will try. Merciless death after merciless death, brutally dying, some might say, in fashionable ways. Several playable characters, tons of unique weapons, unlockables, and horrific hordes of mutants. If that doesn't make it for a good time, then I've been living incorrectly.
Number 6.
Vagante, Vagant, Vagant, whichever way you want to pronounce it, it's an odd game. It came out of nowhere, and still to this day is flying pretty well under the radar, I would say. It's a roguelite platformer and procedurally generated dungeon crawler as you might imagine, but it's outside of the usual formula, enough to engage most players. It has tough-as-nail mobs and bosses, a plethora of unique items to collect and use and figure out if they're going to kill you or not, and I know this is quite repetitive by now, but there are secrets and they're both difficult to unlock and fun to unlock.
Number 5.
FTL and my next entry are more or less tied in these positions as I can hardly pick one over the other. But FTL is the best strategy rogue on the market by a long shot. You control your own space opera! You get to make Picard and Worf! You get to name your characters, assign them to jobs on the ship, creating a dense companionship feeling amongst the crew. A bit more shallow on the unlockable side of things compared to most other entries on this list, but that's fine enough as the game carries itself without a ton of them, something surprising in this genre. And my god, the music. The music in this game is superb, some of the best video game music I've ever heard.
Number 4.
Rogue Legacy is the entry that is tied with FTL, but oh so slightly, by the teeniest fragment of poor decision-making edges it out due to the Castlevania influence this game has. You play as one of 3, or 6 later in the game, heirs that has a random set of skills, perks, and possible detriments that must set forth on an adventure through an ancestor's great castle and surrounding areas, fighting hundreds of mobs and awesome bosses along the way. Also, death in this game becomes part of the gameplay as you collect loot. during your run that you must spend carefully later on to upgrade your castle's manor. With these upgrades that you get, you increase your future heirs' chances of survival on further playthroughs. The levels are procedurally generated each playthrough, and let me tell you, even after beating the game on New Game Plus 8, I still have fun playing this game.
Number 3.
Enter the Gungeon is one of the best games this year, and a game I've been anticipating for the last 2. It's already earned a tight-knit spot this high on my list, and for good reason. The combination of both Isaac and Nuclear Throne style level compression and item discovery with the classic bullet hell shooter is fantastic. This game is charming, hilarious, and brutally difficult, as you might imagine if you're familiar with bullet hells. The game's guns and item variety is simultaneously inspiring and amusing, akin to Isaac, where you may not find the best gun in the game, but you're certainly going to be shooting live fish, so people, come on. Definitely check this game out. It's hot on the shelf right now.
Number 2.
The Binding of Isaac Rebirth is perfect in many ways as a roguelite. It's got clever design, a revamped engine, a great community, hundreds of secrets to discover, limitless replayability, over 10 characters, 400 unique synergistic items, competitive aspects, casual aspects, and much more. What most people get when they jump into this is the unnaturally deep gameplay has a sense of curiosity attached to it, and Ed designed that on purpose. It's genius because you get your first couple of unlocks so easily, and then a few more, and a few more, and then new characters to try out, and they each have their own unlocks, and before you know it, you're sitting on a computer chair wearing drag trying to finish the lost challenges because your sanity has all but faded away. Welcome to the basement, everybody. Press start to cry.
And number 1.
Spelunky is a game. And obviously you know that, right? I mean, I guess I'm just having a hard time describing what can only be labeled by me as this game is literally not figuratively one of the greatest games mankind has ever created, and Derek, you is a monumental genius for dreaming it up, and the dream that he had is one of the Lonely Night, and he formed Mossmouth and remastered it to become literally, again, not figuratively, one of the most perfect video games on the face of our sweet butter and cocaine-filled stone in the sky. I know it's quite the label, right? But chances are you didn't catch any of that, so it doesn't even matter. So I'll just say that with this limitless fun and agonizingly, pride-ruining, love-shatteringly hilarious gameplay, Spelunky is the best bang for your buck in this genre. I played this game the day of release, helped form and write the wiki, went on a search for secrets with several hundred other curious Xbox Live players, and for a year of my life was considered to be top 5 best players of the game. But shameless self-loving aside, this game can't be matched in my opinion, and you are doing yourself a huge disservice by not at least trying it out. Easily one of my favorite genres in games, guys. I had a ton of fun writing this episode for you, so I hope you enjoyed it thoroughly. And I hope you possibly find some new obsessions because of it. Let me know your favorite roguelike games in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like so I know that you did, and if you enjoyed me, please consider subscribing to join the hybrid and get more fun videos. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will catch you later.